Well, thank you, President Forney, for giving us the time. I know it's been a bit difficult, but thank you. I was wondering, how much time do we have? Because I want to make sure the Reverend has time to get up here and speak as well, so I don't want to take...
Initially, I'd indicated 15 minutes, but I would like you to use your time prudently, I guess is the best way to say it.
I'll be very prudent, thank you.
We have quite an agenda, so continue to.
Excuse me. Well, the first thing I want to say is I met Ed Manderville when I was about 16 or 18 years old up in Alexandria in a golf tournament, and he was a cool guy and hit the ball a long way, and we all wanted to be like Ed Manderville, and he said, well, when you come down to Minneapolis, you got to come down to Hiawatha Park and play on Friday in the Hustle. That's not like fun. What is that? Just a big golf tournament. All the guys get together, throw some cash in. So I came down, I played in the Hustle, and I figured out why it was called the Hustle, because I got hustled pretty good by those guys. But great memories, and so whatever you're doing for Ed, I would support as well for whatever that's worth. But I appreciate the chance to be here, and actually really appreciate the fact that all the comments went on first, because to me it was so important to hear all the different opinions, because I do believe, like I think everybody here believes, that all opinions are important. There's no opinion more important than the other opinions. Is to hear everybody's opinion and why they believe it, what they would like, what their passion is, I think is important. So I think all that we're asking is that, at this point in time, I'm not sure there's been this kind of situation before, but there's pushback on you. There's pushback on you on an alternate plan that could actually solve water issues. And that pushback is not a bad thing. Pushback, in my opinion, is a good thing, because it forces everybody to answer significant questions. The questions are the questions everybody poses at this podium. There's a lot of different things important to a lot of different people. And so the pushback, I think, is a really, really healthy part of the process. All we're asking for is more time for this pushback to be developed and examined and looked at. Now, I know for a fact, because I'm two things. I'm a golfer and I'm a golf course designer. And I know in golf course design, I'm not the guy who makes the decisions on all the hydrology. I don't make the decisions on what kind of grass is going to go where. The big decisions need the expert opinion of engineers and hydrologists and agronomists and things like that. So you bring in the experts who have expert opinion based upon science. And you take the science and you make the best decision possible. So when you have experts coming in with different science, to me it seems like it's only natural to take the time to do the discovery to find out if there's any merit in that science. Now that merit in that science is important because of what you heard Al talking about, okay, which is the second part of what I do as a golfer. And I'm going to explain to you why Hiawatha is important to me as a golf course. Hiawatha is a championship golf course. It always has been from the very beginning. They host tournaments there. They host big events there. They host the Bronze Invitational for over 60 years. They've hosted the U.S. Public Links. They've hosted the Minnesota Public Links. They've hosted college tournaments, high school tournaments, MGA tournaments, tournaments of all kind. It's not just a golf course. It's a championship golf course. And because it's a championship golf course, it really changes the dynamic of whether, well, we'll just make it 9. Well, I understand the issues of making it 9, and I've listened and I've heard, and I can see the reason. But I can also tell you that from a golfer's perspective, for people who are in the state of Minnesota who love the game of golf, for people who live in the Twin Cities, for those who live in the neighborhood, 9 holes isn't even close to what this course is all about. And it's based upon the history of Hiawatha. Now, what will the course look like if we ended up keeping 18 holes and changing it? It would be a nature reserve with a historic routing just weaving through nature. And I think a lot of the issues that people are concerned about on the environmental level can be answered with more pushback and discovery into the secondary plan, because I don't think it's understood. But the history of the golf course is so founded in the people who lived there. Okay, and if you look into the history of the golf course, who are the people who made the difference? Well, if you go way back, right now there's a tournament going on in Augusta, Georgia called the Masters. All right, Tiger Woods is playing. Tiger Woods is playing in big part because of what happened at Hiawatha Park Golf Course back in the 50s. No joke. Because back then, black men could not play on the PGA Tour. It's a stain on society, absolutely. However, you had people like Sullivan Hughes, Jimmy Slemons, Ted Rhodes, Charlie Sifford, who stood up and pushed and pushed and pushed. And so in 1952, Sullivan Hughes was given access to play in the St. Paul Open. He opened the door on the PGA Tour in Minnesota. And then in 1960, the PGA Tour opened their entire tour to people of all races. Okay, so if you ask, why is Hiawatha significant? That answers your question. It answers your question completely. It's the history of what happened there. And that history belongs to every person who plays golf, every person who lives in the neighborhood, every person who's ever been to Hiawatha, every person who loves the game, every Minnesotan. That history is significant to everybody. So when you make decisions simply to say, well, we don't want to consider be worried about that history, I think you're making a bad choice because, and I'm not saying anything other than a secondary plan that gives pushback to you with science to support it deserves to be looked at. Because I happen to think that if you do that, you're going to find a way to answer a lot of the questions that a lot of the folks here tonight have in a way that makes way more people happy without diminishing and minimizing a bunch of people who this is so important to. So, and I will say this one more thing, and I'll tell you a quick story. I won the British Open in 1996, and I had this big policeman who was my security guy. I was ranked #2 in the world at the time, and so everywhere I went, me and my caddy and this policeman, he chauffeured us around the golf course to the driving range, the first tee, to the media center, and anyway, get to the 72nd hole, and I hit my second shot on the green, and I had the tournament won. And the crowd all runs forward at the British Open, and so you have 50 people deep of people you have to fight through to get to the green. And so this big policeman grabbed me from behind and started swatting people to the side, and we got to the green, finally breaking through the crowd, and he puts his arm around me and says, "Hey, Tom, we've been through a lot of crap together. Now go get that trophy." Okay, so here's what I would say to you. I think the Bronze Foundation and the people behind it would be a great partner and a great teammate for you. I believe, like that policeman, myself and my caddy formed a team that week, that we can deal with any crap together and come up with a solution that makes sense. Okay, if we listen to each other and work together, and that our commitment to you is that we'll go through any crap we have to go through with you if we can do this together. Thank you very much. God bless you.